Movies of the Meek, where we watch made-for-TV movies and miniseries so you don't have to. From Gia to Xenon, Hysteria to Sybil, welcome to Movies of the Meek.
Mega Piranha.
Yeah, you picked this one, Max. You picked Mega Piranha. Please tell me what this movie's about.
Mega Piranha is the story of a group of scientists just trying to help the world by creating more robust fish. That is their wording, not mine. And something went wrong, and so they tried to kill all of them, but they think some of them may have gotten out / may have been taken. Mm-hmm. And so that's it. They get into the water.
And that's it.
That's it. They get into the water and they kill a bunch of people in the Amazon River, and then they're trying to make their way to Florida, and it's up to our boy, our spy secret agent friend, to put an end to it.
Mr. Feach?
Mr. Feach.
Yeah, this movie was very bizarre. So this was made by Asylum, right?
Yes.
And they're known for this style of like super cheesy action monster movies.
Oh yeah.
So do they make these movies intentionally like this? Like almost as a joke? Like is it supposed to be? Okay. Even the writing, like everything, the whole thing's supposed to be kind of like a parody almost? Because that's the thing that I struggle with. I was like, is this movie trying to walk that line as a parody movie, or is this them like giving it their all, trying to make like an action monster movie?
So I watched the behind the scenes featurette.
Oh, lucky you.
And
because I had to stream this on this crazy website you sent me. All these ads and froze.
And I'll be honest, I'm not too sure. Just because everyone seems really excited to be working on it.
Yeah.
And the star, Mr. Finch,
Finch.
he really loves the script and talks about how fast and smart the script is. And the editor is another one that like when they're talking to him, the editor's just like, it's just like, you're seeing these shots and you're editing stuff together, and you don't know how it's gonna end up, and then later on you end up seeing the special effects, and they're just absolutely amazing. You see some of the stuff come in and you're just blown away, and I don't know.
Whoa.
Honestly.
Well, so it sounds like the editor had no idea what he was doing. And like was hoping that the CG fish would like mask everything else. Where do we start with this, Max? I don't even.
So it opens with.
Let's start with the opening because it's a really great opening. One of my favorites.
The opening, and so the very first thing is, of course, an amazingly quick shot where it goes, whoosh, 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 and it cuts to the side of the Amazon River.
Yeah.
And it's a couple. They're getting ready to make out. Go swim in the water, and then whoosh, whoosh, it goes to a boat. And this is so lots of information about this scene is that there are 3 girls that are topless in this scene.
Yeah.
And this is also the only scene in which the director felt it necessary to be acting in.
Oh, really?
And so the one that is an ambassador, the white man that's an ambassador, who says the line, "I'm not concerned about the communism. I'm concerned about the trade agreement." So the gentleman that says that line is the director of the film.
That explains a lot, Max. With that scene.
He of course felt it necessary to be in the only scene with nudity.
Yes.
And I found out in the making of that those women were just prostitutes that they hired.
Oh my god!
And so, they talked about how they had a lot of difficulty finding women that were willing to be topless, and they couldn't find any, and so they just went to a whorehouse that was nearby and found a couple women who were, of course, very willing to show off their breasts, and all they had to do was pay them their hourly rate.
Oh.
And movie history was made.
I didn't know that was a director. That's kind of funny, but that kind of explains why he has that like title card right there.
But it doesn't, because the other guy also gets a title card, and they all die.
They die. Yeah, you get these title cards with these characters, and you're like, oh, these are important characters, and then they immediately die. And this is following the first scene where the couple dies, right?
And so yes, and so that brings up my main question that I have for this movie, which is, do you think that they only had 50 minutes of movie, and then they did everything they could to stretch it out as long as they could?
Absolutely. They probably had less than 50 minutes of movie, like stuff they actually shot and could keep. I mean, there was so much filler in this.
Oh, yeah, and there's so much stock footage.
There's stock footage. I mean, like, you were making fun of...
They reuse the stock footage.
You're making fun of those establishing shots and how they cut it together. I mean, that's... How many times does it do that in the movie?
Easily 100.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's probably like 30 minutes of the movie are establishing shots.
The one shot where it's just a camera swimming along the river, and it's just like... back and forth. They do that easily 20 times.
Oh my god.
But yeah, every single character has a title card. Every single one of them.
Yeah. Thank God.
Crazy.
I wish more movies did that so I knew their names.
It's insane. I've never seen that.
I've never seen a movie like this.
And the thing that's crazy is that the editing is so aggressive and so fast, and yet so little happens. And so much of it is like they're clearly stretching it out as much as they can, but they're editing it so aggressively that it's like the same sequences like 900 times, just really, really quick.
Oh my God.
Like it's unreal.
And like the scenes where they want to portray action with the fish are usually just like a still or like some kind of flyover of a lagoon, and then like CG the fish in. Like there's not even any camera movement. It's like, it's fucking crazy, Max. Like this movie is fucking crazy. So
when all right, so they establish the main character. He's shirtless. He's looking buff. His computer screen comes on. It's I don't with all the title cards. Somehow I don't know anyone's names.
Bob Grady.
So Bob Grady comes on the screen, and he's like, "We have this situation down in the Amazon River. A bunch of people have died." And he says, "We could have another Afghanistan on our hands."
And at this point, only 6 people died? Well, it was the diplomat died. Is that what sparked this chain of events?
That's what sparked the government needing to be involved.
Okay.
Because he was a big enough of a deal that they needed to bring in Finch.
Yeah, he looked like it, partying with prostitutes on the Amazon River.
But and so that's when he's just like, "Yeah, okay, I'll be on the next flight over," and they bring Finch there. He meets the guy to pick him up at the airport to take him to Colonel Diaz, and Finch is just like, "I'm sorry, I my Spanish is rusty, and you're taking me to Diaz, right?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, Diaz, this way." And then we meet Tiffany.
Yeah.
I don't know her character's name. I just know she's Tiffany, the singer.
Yeah, I don't know.
The 80s.
I don't know any of the scientists' names. I don't. I just know they were all pretty amazing.
Also, all the scientists have ADR the entire time.
Everyone has ADR the entire time. Finch has ADR. It's like, well, I couldn't tell if he had ADR or if it was just his voice. He was like, that man had no emotion.
Yeah.
It was foobar.
It was foobar, man. Yeah, and so, he goes and meets with Colonel Diaz.
Yeah.
Colonel Diaz doesn't like him being there.
Of course
He
not.
makes that very clear. He gives him a little cot to sleep on. And then, he's like, all right, so I gotta go with Colonel Diaz to go scope this out. And they're in a helicopter. And until the very last time that they're in a helicopter, I honestly thought that they were just in a room and someone was flashing a light at them. Because it didn't seem like they had an actual helicopter as a prop ever. Until finally, we're 80 minutes into the movie and they show like a semi-exterior shot of a helicopter. And I was like, okay,
yeah,
so they got to use the inside of a helicopter. That's nice.
That's nice. Also, why was Bob Grady like always in a boiler room? Like I never knew where he was.
Yeah.
It was always just in some dark boiler room. Okay, so Finch gets there. He meets the scientists, right, when he gets to the military base?
So he runs into Tiffany on the way to the military base.
And then she's like plot dump right there with the fish and right?
Oh yeah.
Which is what all like those scientists, all they're for in this movie is just to tell you things about the piranha. Which the facts about these fish seem to change like every fucking scene too.
Oh yeah.
What they are, what they're how they eat, what their motivations are, like
that's also
where they're going, like where they're swimming to changes, like it's pretty bizarre.
So let's go back one scene, okay?
Okay.
So Finch is in the helicopter. The helicopter I didn't believe was real. Mm-hmm. And they're going over the river. And that's when Diaz is like, you cannot go down there. That is in the infested waters. There's no way I will let you out of the helicopter and go see it. You would have to jump out of the water. And so Finch is like, well, I gotta see that happen. And so he sneaks out of the base. Was that not your favorite part of this film?
Yeah, that was pretty sick, dude.
Because that is like the greatest anyone sneaking out of anywhere.
It was
all of it looks like a joke.
It was so bad. Like I think I texted you like that's when it reminded me of Decker. Like it was
oh my god.
It was so fucking corny.
It's amazing. And so
he sneaks out though. He definitely sneaks out.
He does sneak out.
Yeah.
He hires a random guy to be his boat. And the boat takes him to the waters, and when he's there at the water, he finds the fish. The fish attack him, and he grabs the one fish and brings it on land, and it's just a toy fish that he's fighting with, and then he stabs. And then he takes that fish back to Diaz, slams it on the counter. He's like, here's your fish. And Diaz is like, what is this? We gotta blow it up. And he's like, I'm gonna go talk to these scientists. And then he goes to the scientists. We have a wonderful exterior shot of the lab, which we'll see another 12 times over the course of the film. And he brings in the fish, and he removes this cloth that he has over it. The one scientist goes, that's the sample we needed. Which is like that's a whole fish.
Do they
Not
need
really a sample?
Do they need?
Whatever.
Yeah, that's true. And do they need samples considering that's the fucking lab who made them?
That they created them.
Yeah. So the scientists seem to like they have a plan immediately.
But no, they don't.
Like they like start telling Finch their plan before they even do like an autopsy on the fish. Like it was fucking crazy, Max.
They also they're I don't know, scanning the fish. I don't know what they fucking do. It makes zero sense. They just grab it.
Yeah, they're just poking
and then they're behind the computer. And also another amazing line, which is where the scientist is just like Tiffany goes, they're doubling in size every 2 days, and the one scientist goes, no, it's quicker than that. every 36 hours. It's like,
he was
okay,
my
who
favorite
fucking
character.
cares?
That scientist was so dope.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
What else do we learn about the fish though in that scene? They have like super strong scales or something, or they say skin, and they're very strong.
So it's incredibly thick skin.
They're hermaphrodites.
But they're just talking about these fucking fish, and then Fish gets a phone call from his boss, and he goes, "The scientists figured out a way to kill the piranha." They hadn't at that point. They all they said was that there's a dam and that you shouldn't burst the dam because right now the fish are contained. Yeah. And they're like, we don't know what shooting bullets at them will do. They might get stronger, which at the end of the movie, like that's what they basically do anyway. They
which is insane, Max. The way their final plan in this movie is crazy, just crazy.
Also, so they're scanning the fish and they're looking at information on the computer, and Tiffany says, "You better come see this." Before she even knows what's on the computer, she says it as she's walking to the computer.
Do they show the map, like it was like a map of the fish trajectory or whatever, like where they're gonna go?
Oh yeah, of course.
So this is a problem I have with this film is, the fish, the dam you just mentioned breaks in a little bit here, right?
Yeah.
They blow it up by accident, I think.
Yeah.
And the fish travel north, and they go towards Florida. But in that map, it shows the fish from wherever they are in South America. It shows them hitting all the waterways, essentially like infesting all of South America with these monster piranha.
Yeah.
But later in the movie, once the dam breaks, they all go north. All of them go north. And I thought in that scene it was establishing that these fish were going to be like completely free to roam all the waterways. I don't know. I mean, again, like this movie, like that's fine that happened. Like this movie is fucking, it's not a big deal. But I was just like, what the fuck? Because like I saw all the fish like traveling north, and I was like, what about the other fish that are murdering people towards the south?
Yeah.
But I don't know. So they go. How does this fucking dam break again? What happens?
So Diaz decides that he's gonna attack the fish, and so he's in the helicopter, and they're on their way, and they're just like, fuck it, let's just blow up the dam. Let's blow up everything. We'll shoot anything. Shoot
everything. They didn't mean to blow up the dam though, right?
And so that kind of is a side effect of what happens. And of course, once the dam breaks, then all the piranha are able to go out into the water, and once they're out in the larger body of water, that's when they're able to grow to be the size of cars.
Yes, so they after the dam gets destroyed, they grow a lot. Like they're huge. They're jumping out of the water, eating buildings at this point.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little confused as to their growth rate, like, because it seems like they grew a lot, and that they almost doubled their size or more than doubled their size, and they're eating buildings, and then we'll jump a little bit ahead, and they're like normal size, and Finch is like kickboxing them on the beach, like they're like football size, but then like they get bigger again. This movie just seems to kind of make them bigger or smaller depending on what the scene is.
The ones you're calling football size are like the size of dogs. They're so big.
Oh, you're right. You're right. They were a little bigger than footballs, but yeah, he's kicking them. But they were just the size of buildings.
So I assume that, those are the babies that are being born on the way there,
That's really cute.
So you're getting a variety.
You're getting the baby. Okay. All right.
By the time they get to Florida. I love how sometimes there are subtitles and sometimes there aren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I also love how like so much of this movie is like people being disgusted and like angry, and then other people have to hold them back. That happens like 4 times.
When Tiffany freaks out on the beach, it's like my favorite fucking thing. I didn't write it down,
so
but
good.
She's just like, I fucking hate these fish. They're so mean. I hate them. Why are they so mean? I hate them. Why are they so mean?
Why are they so mean?
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? Was this in the script, or did she just do this? But
okay.
But
so
yeah, do you want to keep going with the plot and just see where it goes?
So the military has a plan. Okay, this part makes no sense.
Do
to
they?
me.
Okay.
The military has a plan, which is they're gonna bomb them to hell. Okay, and so they're waiting for all the scientists to get into a triangulated position, and they have to make a phone call to the battleship. And when they make the phone call to the battleship, then the battleship is going to bomb that area.
Yes.
Now, the battleship knows what area they're attacking. And also, they have a countdown. Okay?
Yeah.
So here's my question. Why did anyone need to call the battleship if the battleship had a countdown? They knew where they were attacking. Basically, all they were doing is waiting for them to not be in danger.
I guess.
Which could have just happened if they just never even went.
Yeah, the movie just kind of breaks down after the fish get out of South America.
Does it?
It breaks down. Like, they... So what other things do they do to try to stop the fish, Max? What are their other...
Are we talking about the finale?
Well, they do the battleship, and then I believe they nuke them, right? They use a small nuke.
Yeah.
And then, is there another thing that happens, or that's it, right? They do... Okay, and then what is their final plan?
Okay.
After they nuke these fish and nothing happens, what's their final plan?
Well, so they attack them with helicopters. which obviously shows off the incredible CGI.
Beautiful.
Because, man, oh man, are those some good-looking helicopters.
It looks like one of those apps you download that it'll do like the augmented reality CGI with the dinosaurs and stuff.
You remember the movie Toys?
Oh yeah.
You remember the helicopter games that the kids are playing in the movie Toys?
Yeah.
It somehow looks worse than that.
It looks really bad, man. All of it looks bad.
So they're attacking them with the helicopters. My boy Diaz shows up. He has a helicopter. He tries to stop their plans. He fails. And so we get to the greatest plan of all time, which is that there's apparently a gun powerful enough to kill all the fish. They do this really long exposition talking about how badass this gun is.
I fucking love that scene.
There's a team. There's a team of the SEALs, and for some reason, one of the scientists. Not even the cool guy with the really deep voice. The skinnier guy with the kind of deep voice.
Yeah. He has some good dialogue in the movie, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like the one where he's talking about the zygotes or whatever. It was on the it was right after Tiffany freaks out. He like says something so stupid about it was just science nonsense.
So that's one of the things that I have about this movie, where I was just saying it seems like they're just trying to stretch this movie out as much as possible. Whenever they have a dialogue scene, especially with the scientists, they kind of stretch everything out for one extra beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be like, these fish are attacking us. There's nothing we can do. I have a plan to stop them. What is your plan? And it's just like, why was there that pause for a really long time? And that happens constantly throughout this movie. And it got to the point where I was just like, someone should have picked up on this, unless this is just you're trying to make more time.
Yeah, that's all it was, Max.
Because conversations shouldn't go that way. The conversations flow mediocrely, you know? Why not kick it up a notch?
Oh my god. That what was off. I mean, that's what I felt was off, man. I was like, this movie feels so weird and stilted.
So good.
But yeah, going back to the insane Nerf guns they use with the seals.
Yeah.
Their plan is to shoot them in the eyes initially.
Yes.
So there's a couple seals and the two scientists and Finch and one of the scientists who's still alive, and they just jump in the water, right?
Yeah, and they got scuba gear on, and they just go shoot some fish.
And this is following them firing a nuclear missile at these fish.
Yeah, and it's also following them with helicopters fighting at these fish, which I completely forgot about. So they have when they have the dogfight with the helicopters.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they use the helicopters. They blow up a bunch of helicopters by doing some sweet evasive tactics. But then the helicopter runs out of gas.
So good.
And Finch says, "You need gas, kerosene, anything that'll burn." And Tiffany says, "I can make anything burn." And she uses an oxygen tank to fuel the fucking helicopter. And she says, "Get ready for this, because it's going to be quite a boost." It's just oxygen.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. Because they fly from South America to Florida in a helicopter.
Yeah.
That's crazy. On oxygen.
Which is possible.
On oxygen. Oh my god. They get in the water, and they try to fire at these things' eyes.
Also, none of them have the actual gun that the guy was talking about in his expositional part, talking about the gun.
Yep, they have different guns. They're all talking to each other, but they're all just wearing regular scuba gear, so there's no way that they could be talking to each other. That's it's fine.
They all have mouthpieces in.
Now, did you also find their performance in the water very boring? Like it was kind of just like
no Sabrina Down Under.
No Sabrina Down Under. They just had a couple bros just in a pool, and they CGI'd a bunch of fish. A bunch of Mega Piranha.
Yeah.
They weren't doing much in the water. No. They were just kind of like horribly scuba diving with Nerf guns. But what do? They shoot them in the gills, right?
And so they basically, their tactic is that they're gonna injure the giant one. The giant one is able to bite a sub, by the way. It is big enough to bite a submarine.
They don't do a great job with scale in this movie. It's hard to tell how big the piranha are compared to the people, but they're very huge at this point.
So they then decide that if they can injure the big one, because Finch saw one time one of them got bloody, and it was eaten by all the weaker piranha.
Yeah,
and so Finch says he's trying to start a feeding frenzy. They do that.
Yeah. So do they? What is their motivation for destroying everything?
The piranha.
Like blood, right? They smell blood, they attack. But like, what's with them jumping and chewing on buildings and things? You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah.
Like what is their motivation for attacking? Because even in a movie,
it looks real good.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks pretty good. But
CGI flames, come on.
But in like Sharknado, there's a reason why the sharks are flying through the air eating people, because they're in a tornado, right? This is just giant piranha flying out of the water for no reason.
Yeah.
that was just in my notes. I was just like, they're eating boats. I guess there's people on them. I don't know, but whatever. There's a feeding frenzy, and that's how they win.
Yeah.
So again, like their initial plan of going in the water, shooting them in the eyes, and then gills did not work. That was not going to work.
Yeah, and even it also doesn't make sense, just the idea of shooting one piranha and then they all just, I guess, would eat each other, and then that would be the end of it. I don't know.
They also mention, Tiffany mentions that they absorb nutrients through their skin, and that got me wondering, like, because she uses that as a reason for their size. She says they absorb nutrients through their skin. That's why they're growing so fast. But if they're absorbing like nutrients through their skin, why are they fucking eating everything?
Yeah. These are all good questions.
These are really good questions, Max. But it's an Asylum movie, so it's fine.
And you know, as long as the good guy gets the girl, that's all that matters.
That's right.
And that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Did you like Tiffany? Tiffany wrote a song for the end of the movie.
She did.
Okay.
I kind of turned it off immediately. It's like, I'm done. It's a really gross looking movie. It's super yellow and just kind of fucking
except for when it's nighttime, where it's just blue, but you can tell that they still shot it at daytime. They just made the daytime blue.
That's called smart filmmaking, Max.
You right. Are you ready for some trivia?
Yeah, let's do trivia.
Here's some IMDb trivia. When actor Paul Logan was kicking the piranhas, he was not actually kicking anything.
Really? He wasn't kicking anything.
So,
really?
Fun fact about all the people that updated this IMDb, they're all just dicks, and I love them.
Even the Wikipedia is insane. Like, they make fun of it in the plot summary on the Wikipedia page.
So this movie did have 2.2 million views for its premiere, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that I knew, but I still think is interesting, which is that, like every Asylum film, it's piggybacking on another release. And so this movie was released to capitalize on Piranha 3D. Now, I've seen Piranha 3D. It's nothing like this movie. And it honestly is so unlike this movie that I don't think anyone would ever associate those two to be the same.
Well, this movie was made before that movie came out, right? So they had no idea.
Other than they have Piranha in the title.
Yeah, that's all some people need, Max.
Yeah, you're right. But this movie is closer, to like Humanoids from the Deep. It's closer to that movie, where it's that's a Roger Corman movie where he is it's about scientists trying to make I think tuna fish that's genetically modified so that it's bigger so that they can feed more people, but the genetic experiment goes wrong and it ends up getting out into the water. And it ends up creating like weird human fish creatures.
Yeah, why would they ever try to make piranha more efficient and stronger?
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense to make piranha bigger.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Now for some goofs. In the scene that Jason shoots at the helicopter pilot, the window gets covered in the pilot's blood. When they show the window again, it has no blood.
Yeah.
During the car chase, the riveting car chase, Diaz's truck changes from a Suburban to an Explorer to an XL7. When Fitch and friends go through the checkpoint, Fitch tells Tiffany and the guy in the back to disappear, and that's exactly what they do. Somehow, Tiffany is able to hide herself in the front seat of the car without being noticed. The three main characters are being held prisoner at the Venezuelan Spanish-speaking military compound. They leave the building via a door marked in English, ACLS tool room. As Finch is telephoning from Venezuela to Washington, D.C., it is in Washington, D.C. night and Venezuela day. The two locations are actually in the same goddamn time zone.
That's something they should have checked.
Fitch tells Colonel Diaz the coordinates where he found the piranhas. 51.8 north and 67 west. That would be somewhere in Quebec, Canada.
Oh my god. They didn't give a fuck, Max. They didn't care.
But yeah, that's it for Mega Piranha.
That's it for Mega Piranha.
I loved it.
What a great movie. I'm excited for more Asylum movies. This movie is surprisingly hard to watch. For anyone who's listening who wants to watch this movie, if you want to hit us up, we can send you a link to stream it illegally. It is hard to find, right? Like you bought it on Amazon physical.
Yeah.
But you bought the last one.
Copy.
You bought the last goddamn copy, so I couldn't buy it. It's not on any streaming service. Yeah, I don't know. So good luck. But yeah, so next week I'm thinking of doing Salem's Lot. You down?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so look forward to that.